or you two?
Welcome, bienvenue. After some small technical issues, now recovered, we have the fabulous Hamish McLay of Search Convey, the incomparable Bharti, Bhuva and Sharon Whitney of Whitefield Legal Services, and myself, Gareth Wax of the Many Purple Hats. Now, look, we often talk about what the fundament of this channel is, which is the Independent Personal Search Association, of which Hamish is the current chairman, and we talk about the way in which members of IPSA deal with their clients, and it's never been more appropriate to talk about that than today. Today's topic: elevating customer service in legal and conveyancing. And Hamish, would you take it away for us?
Well, sort of unfortunately, the length of time it took me to get sort of on board technically today, both Sharon and Bharti could have produced a search for somebody from the start to finish. It shows you how quickly Whitefield can actually sort of get their sort of work together. But we are speaking about customer service, and it is something which is notably absent from. I mean, one of the things, it used to be a pleasure to go shopping. You could speak to people, you could meet to people, you got the good quality service, you could ask somebody where something was. And unfortunately, we don't get that. But it's even worse now, because so much of what we do is actually sort of on screen. If in fact we're very fortunate today, we can actually see people. People couldn't hear me earlier. No, I couldn't hear them. Yeah, they couldn't hear me all right. Yes. But too much of it is we just press buttons. We don't see anybody. We just press the button and it happens. And interesting enough, there's a very simple question I asked somebody yesterday. I thought, speak to our online bot. Their bot didn't know the answer. I'm still waiting 24 hours later. So that shows you AI doesn't work. However, the challenge that we face today is the number of websites you go onto. There's no direct link that enables you to speak to somebody at the end of the phone. Yeah. And that really does put people off. So there's that particular aspect. There's also the other challenge that we tend to have. If there's a central, if it's a central office, we do end up having to go through some kind of reception person who is not responsible for the work that you want to speak about. You need to be put through to somebody else. In fact, indeed councils even do this. It can take days to actually get through to departments of councils. So what we want to speak about is the quality of customer service you will get from IPSA members, and in particular, because they sort of do rather sparkle at Whitefield. They are so good at retaining those clients because of the way in which they've looked after them over the years, which is why we've invited both Sharon and Bharti along today.
Well, it's wonderful to have such great representatives of the IPSA community. Bharti and Sharon, welcome to you both. Customer services, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think as we've just got over the stamp duty changes, this is a perfect time to talk about customer service. Over the last month, it's been very busy. Clients have many methods of communication to get through to us: by the phone, by email. Now we have by WhatsApp. So we are very much contactable, and they can get to speak to us. No call centres, and when they do get through, we know what's going on with that property or how we can help. So just over the last month, communication has been key to know that things are coming back if there's delays. So it's been a good month to talk about that. Yeah.
Bharti, you must have seen so many changes since you first set up Whitefield. Didn't it used to be more about how you dealt with the people than just the data?
Yeah, you know what? It's okay to say, oh, we press off a button, we can do X, Y, and Z. But when you cannot speak to somebody urgently or something that you need it's just so frustrating. It's like getting in touch with the council. Now there are no telephone numbers on the councils,
Oh
right?
dear.
If the lawyer was going straight to the council to get their searches, they would be stuck. They'll be honestly, they wouldn't have a chance in hell to get their searches back like what we've done. This, especially my team, not so much me, but my team. And Sharon on Friday was like going mad. Said my phone hasn't stopped. My phone. You won't believe we worked through the weekend to get this work out to the clients. All of us. There was just every one of my team worked on Saturday, Sunday. So we know what frustration the client faces. You know, they get their client shouting and screaming at them, but we have to be really take that pressure as well from them, so they can deliver their stuff.
Yeah.
And we deliver our stuff to them.
I have to say very quickly before anybody gets the wrong idea, Bharti and Sharon don't normally work weekends. This is a very unusual. This is only days of rest.
Well, everyone trying to get through, isn't it? Even evenings, WhatsApp messages. It's just a stressful time for all conveyancers out there, estate agents, and LinkedIn is full of that. And it is all comes down to communication, to know what everybody is doing and are they going to meet their deadlines. Yeah.
As most people know, I champion better communication, especially on LinkedIn. Hamish, it just seems crazy that even these times of crisis and everything going up and down, we should be talking more, not less.
This is a fundamental difference, and there are really, we do still, I should say still, we do have two classes of people. There's those that don't like to speak, and they choose not to. And I think this is a drain that we've had, which came through as a consequence of lockdown. The council offices, they're a bit like doctors in a way. They found, oh, wow, we don't have to speak to people. We can just get on and do our work. And therefore, the method of actually getting through, unless you have a personal relationship with them.
Or a Ouija board.
Well, there's the Ouija board as well. But actually sort of knowing, because very often what actually can happen, and but both Sharon and Bharti are able to sort of do this, we will get direct numbers from members of the council. So we can actually phone them directly. They will give us a separate email address. They will, all sorts of things. The council will bend over backwards to support us because they know we are supporting them. And it's all back down to that particular sort of relationship. But there are people who don't want to speak. They just want to press buttons. And unfortunately, that works. But it doesn't work as effectively as actually direct communication, picking up the phone. And we actually sort of, people actually afford, it's daft really, because we're all working, we're all trying to achieve the same end. So what's the point in actually falling out?
Yeah.
We've known that all the time because we would get exasperated. And Bharti would know, she was a land charges officer as well. We get exasperated with certain land charges officers because we need this, we really need, and the land charges officer is not responding somehow or other. I mean, something sort of strange happens. However, over time, we work with the land charges officers from different councils. This is how Bharti and Sharon were able to pull off some miraculous turnaround times. You wouldn't believe actually some of them. And there would be occasions. It didn't happen this weekend because Bharti and Sharon so much to catch up on, so many searches just to get out there. But it is that communication thing. So there's two folds. Let the people who want to press the buttons and they can just get the results, but you won't get the same result at all.
Yeah.
There's no way. What you can do is press the button, get things going, and then you can phone up a member of the team. You can phone up, particularly with Whitefield. We know exactly who you can speak to there. But all IPSA members work the same way. You will actually get through to the person who understands what the search is about. It won't be a call centre. It won't be stacking up. It won't wait 2 or 3 days before somebody comes back and sends you a new plan or whatever it happens to be. Everything happens real time as opposed to lost time.
Yeah. And remember, just adding to that, when I and Hamish started the business as a search company, we used to go out and speak to the land charges and pick up the land charges, right? That made incredible amount of difference. They always call me the Rottweiler because I wanted everything now, but at the same time, I had so much respect for them because, they work there. Really, they work so hard. They're so much under pressure that if I didn't have this relationship with them, they would say, oh, well, just leave her, But over the years, we built this relationship. Yeah. And over the years, they respect us as much as we respect them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the land charges don't get the respect. People are always screaming at them, But you don't know the pressure that goes behind the scene on their department, because they're collecting information department by department, not from one place, where the client can just come to us as one place and they get all the information. And we do the hard work for them to get all this information they require from department to department. But they just have to make one phone call, not 10 phone calls.
Exactly.
That's the difference now.
So Sharon, since we've started digitizing some of the stuff, I believe that you still need to have those relationships in place to finish off the search, right?
Absolutely, because there's still so much other information we need from the councils, and we need to keep those relationships. And goodness, we've given them a lot of hassle over the last week ourselves, and they've gone above and beyond for some of our clients to meet their deadlines. I mean, they've been wonderful, but that's what we need. That's why we can do what we do, because of them, and it's what's important to our business. Yeah, they help us. Yeah. So a big thank you to them as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's amazing the work that they do. Hamish, when you first started searching, must have been, there was a bit here, there's a bit of microfiche there was a bit of a scroll here. Has it become any easier to find that information? Are we closer to pressing one button and it all coming out?
No. I think it's
there we go. Thank you, everybody, for
watching. No.
What we do have is some of the information. It was rather amusing. We're speaking about one of the Yorkshire councils, where they've what they've actually sort of done, which is unbelievable. They've become a unitary authority, so they've combined a vast number. I don't know how many council offices they've brought together. They've dumped so many of the experienced staff, and put the prices up by an incredible amount, almost doubling the price. Because what they did, they picked, I think it was Harrogate. Harrogate was the most expensive, so they decided, well, if we're charging that for Harrogate, we can charge us. If we're charging 150 for Harrogate, we'll charge them all 150, even though previously we've been charging £75, which is a sort of good way. There's no justification for it. They would justify it by saying, well, we're all broke. But the challenge with that is they actually disrupt the working relationship. Now, it's fortunate that IPSA members will know the staff that are remaining because they've been working with those, but they will know the council areas better that these other councils haven't got a clue about, because they worked on a totally different way. So some of the information does come through. Some of the information does come through quicker. If you take land charges, for example, those 30% of councils, just over 100 councils, we got the information coming straight back. However, that information that's coming straight back does need to be refined because it's inaccurate. I mean, I heard an absolute beauty, but we'll save this for another time. But what's actually happened, it was to do with an Article 4. Now, a lot of people don't know what are the restrictions. Land charges indicate what restrictions there are on the property, what limitations you can do with it. And in some council areas, they do not allow houses of multiple occupation.
Right.
And in fact, this Article 4 for this one particular council said they would allow up to between 3 and 6 members to actually sort of live within one household. Now they've refined it, they've improved absolutely everything. They took out the word "the" and, so they're now able to actually convert the property into up to 36 people living in the property, and they pay that for a fortnight. So anybody that wanted to actually put 36 people into their house, they've got a license to be able to actually do it.
That's what's happening now.
That's nuts.
So what is the person doing it from IPSA? What would an IPSA member do? They put the word "and" back in again.
Yeah.
So it says 3 and 6, not 36. And that is the distinction. That's the type of thing that we have to do. We have to refine certain pieces of information that are held by land charges as well as the councils themselves, because we do have an awful lot of council members. They're now covering, the person that's covering Harrogate, for example, doesn't know anything about Harrogate. Yet they, under the new unification process, they're meant to understand it. So it's only the person who's had the experience of working there before. Now, fortunately, neither Bharti or Sharon need to work, but they know who to speak to, who to get their search to come from Yorkshire, just as we know if it's a London search, if it's down in that particular region, and some good parts of the Thames Valley as well, Whitefield Legal Services know exactly the people to speak to. And we haven't created as many unitary authorities down here of late. I mean, that happened a long, long time ago, but it's beginning to happen. We're going to see it in Oxfordshire. We're going to be losing they want to combine most of Oxfordshire now, which is 4 or 5 councils. So cutting a long story long, the situation we are not getting the 100% of the right information. And what we're doing, and Bharti mentioned that previously we would have to travel between each of these councils using the petrol and all the rest. We still have to go out to a few, funnily enough, but there's not as many. But the time that we would have spent out in the field driving, we're now spending refining the information that we're actually receiving and researching.
So you've just reallocated the time that you would have spent on one thing, i.e. driving around like maniacs, and now you're using that to actually refine the data you've got in the first place.
So we could say, for example, Bharti and Sharon, by working last weekend, what would have happened had they been having to drive to the councils? So getting that data through is, yes, it's beneficial. However, it's getting it right.
Yes,
it's important.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me just bring this to a close. I want to acknowledge the fact that Hamish McLay, Search and Convey, and Bharti and Sharon, all of which started search businesses quite some time ago, have seen how the land has shifted, and even with the onslaught of digitization and providing a supposed place a portal where you can receive most of your information, you still need to refine it. It just goes to show that the personal relationships with the land charges, the ongoing relationships with the council, and the fact that the local knowledge all comes together in one group of people to assure that your searches are done so that they are providing what you actually need, not some vague shadow of that.
Yes.
I want to thank you all very much for taking part.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our ongoing onslaught onto all things IPSA and why it's relevant to get to know your IPSA representative, because they will be the best placed people within your locality to provide you those search information that you're looking after. Until next time, please keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and get to know your IPSA representatives, because they will get to know you as well and build that relationship. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.